Hey there, Linda Murphy here again. Today I'd like to talk about another tool for empowerment tool chest, and that's intuition. Many of us have intuition. We've been working with it for a long time, but there are some people that maybe are just starting out on their quest to learn about intuition. So I'd like to talk a little bit about how I found out about intuition. Way back when I was going through my breast cancer journey and beyond, I had a few friends that were very intuitive, and I found this to be very curious, very interesting, and something that I thought I would want to practice also. And I did find out that we all have the ability, we all have this inner intuition about us, we just have to wake it up. So I started on my quest of how I was going to wake up my intuition. And what I did, the first thing I did was I read this book, A Still Small Voice by Bodine. I thought this book was really interesting, fascinating, and it definitely sparked things for me as to how I can work on gaining better and better intuition. I've worked with this for many years. I've gotten pretty good at it at this point in time. I have tuned in on my body. My body tells me a lot of different things. All of our bodies tell us different things. When you get that gut feeling, that's an inner intuition. You just your gut just kind of rolls a certain way or whatever, and it's like, okay, what's going on? Maybe I shouldn't do this if my gut is rolling like that. Sometimes it's a feeling that you get in your chest. For me, it's a warm, bubbly type feeling in my chest near my heart that usually indicates to me, all right, this is a good idea. Keep on going down this pathway. I also have fine-tuned over the years that I do hear this inner voice, and it's exciting for me every time it comes through. The inner voice is, I refer it to as my higher self, my angels, God, source. I kind of do it collectively. And it takes a while, at least for me it took a while, because I had to trust all these inner feelings that I was having and knowing that this was my intuition. And as I built up confidence in my body and I got to a place of stillness in my head, the inner voices would be able to come through. And I just love it when they talk to me. But the most important thing is to build up that stillness in your head. And part of that is a type of meditation. I'm not a person that loves to just sit there and create a meditative state. It's never worked well for me. What does work really well for me is what I call wakeful meditation. If I'm out in nature and I'm going for a walk, my mind becomes still and it takes in all the essences of nature, and that fills my heart. And that also allows my mind to take in information from my higher source, my higher self. Wakeful meditation for me happens when I'm doing dishes. I get into that beautiful state of just a still mind, and quite often information comes to me. If I'm outside filling my bird feeders, it's another place where I just love being in that atmosphere of nature, and I'm working with the birds. My mind becomes very still and I can get information. So I'm just giving you a couple examples of what works for me. Again, this wakeful meditative state. And I have learned over the years to discern when that inner voice talks to me. My inner voice always comes on my right-hand side. It talks differently to me than my inner voices, my personal inner voices talk. So I've been able to discern, okay, that's my higher self talking to me. The information comes to me very quickly and always is on target. And when I listen to the inner higher self voice, I usually move forward very easily and very comfortably. I've also learned that because this information comes to me and it's very quick and it's for me to receive it, I almost always choose to write down the information. Again, because those are not my words, my inner Linda's words. These are my higher self words. When the information comes to me, I have a tendency to forget them because they're not necessarily my words. So I've learned probably 100% of the time to stop whatever I'm doing and to write it down. Another place that this happens very often for me is when I'm driving in a car. I choose to not keep the music on in my car. I've turned the music off years and years ago. I love the silence in my car because that's my time that I talk to God. I talk to Source or whatever. We have wonderful conversations. I'm all by myself, and I kind of just get lost into that beautiful comfort of godliness. And quite often, that's when my inner voice on my right-hand side, my higher self, I should say, my right-hand side comes into me. Quite often, I have to pull off the side of the road. I always have paper and pen with me, and I mean, I'm just given so much information. I'm just write. And then once I get back home and I'm in a calm place, I will reread the information that came through to me, and it's 100% always on target. Sometimes, especially when I'm riding in a car, I might just kind of pose a question, or I might be talking or thinking about something like, how can I do this? How can I move forward with doing this, or whatever? And I've posed this question, and that inner voice comes into me and gives me much information. And I just love that. And the car is probably the biggest place for me where information is given to me. So I've become very addicted and so appreciative of that, what is that, a still small voice that comes through the mind, and it is just absolutely wonderful. And it took me quite a few years to get to the point to be able to discern that voice. And I'll talk about a little bit of a tangent with that. I'm an animal communicator, and I love animals, and I love to connect with animals. And I decided that since I've learned to discern my own inner voice, that I wanted to work with animals' inner voices, and I wanted to connect with their inner soul. I worked on that. I actually had a teacher way back when that taught me the initial stages of animal communication, and it brings me a tremendous amount of joy. And I have to go through a couple different techniques to be able to tap into an animal source. But it is an absolutely beautiful and wonderful experience to me because animals speak so loudly to me, and I have found working with animals absolutely fascinating. So that's like another aspect of intuition. I also would like to talk about manifestation. Manifestation, you kind of put it out to the universe, whatever your thought is, put it out to the universe, and the universe hears your request or hears your thoughts. And the universe works hard to try to bring it back to you. I have learned over the years when I manifest to always manifest something in a positive light, using positive words, putting out there. It's just different requests. I have fun with this, talk to the universe, whatever I'm wanting or looking for, put it out there and see what the universe brings back to me. I also find that when I'm trying to manifest, it works better for me if I write it down. It becomes more solidified as a manifestation. And with that, way back when I worked with this book, Write It Down and Make It Happen. Henriette and Klouser is the author. I liked this book and it made so much sense to me. Write it down and make it happen. So I quite often do that. I write down my thoughts, what I want to manifest, put it on that piece of paper, kind of sit with that piece of paper for a day or two. Sometimes then I'll chuck the paper away, maybe into a little box or a little area that I have reserved for these pieces of paper. And then I kind of crack up because after a while I'll go back to that box or this area where I've collected these papers that I'm trying to manifest things. And I kind of crack up because quite often what I've written down, I might have forgotten what I've written down, but they've already happened in my body. I'm always surrounding everything with total thankfulness and appreciation because I know that's what moves us forward. I thought these would be some helpful tools that you can put into your empowerment toolkit. And let's see what comes up next time. All right, see you later. Bye.